The gentleman from Maryland, Mr. Mfume, is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. There's an old saying that your pain is where your passion is. And so let me just go back to where we started almost 3 hours ago at the beginning of this hearing and talk for a second about the pain that I felt, as I hope many of you did, listening firsthand to the accounts of witnesses and victims from Uvalde and from Buffalo. Listening to them, I am still stunned and heartbroken. The gun carnage that continues in schools, in supermarkets, in movie theaters, in churches, on the streets of my Baltimore and the streets of cities all over this country is a cross, ladies and gentlemen, that we all bear, whether we want to or not. The gun laws that we hope will be passed today, I hope, are seen as a beginning, not the end, only as a beginning. Otherwise, I really believe that we are doomed in our fight against murderers and their guns and the evil and the pain that they spread. I want to acknowledge and thank the gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Higgins, the commissioner from Buffalo, and the mayor of New York, all of whom served in law enforcement and saw firsthand how difficult it is to deal with the violence perpetrated by guns, and particularly assault weapons. And I want to associate my remarks with those of Mayor Adams when he said, let the ATF do its job in rounding up so many illegal guns that are on our streets and to finally confirm a nominee. Madam Speaker, Madam Chair, you'll remember 1994. We were members of this body. We worked for a whole year to put together and pass an assault weapons ban. And the only reason it wasn't permanent was because we weren't able to get enough people, members, on the other side of the aisle, unfortunately, to go along with that. And so the compromise was a 10-year ban on assault weapons, which expired in 2004. I'm just shocked that 18 years has gone by and this body has not moved to reestablish that. In 1999, as a president of the NAACP, I filed suit against the gun industry. It took us 3 years to get to court because the NRA did everything they could to keep it from not happening. And finally, in 2003, we went to court. I testified in Brooklyn, New York for over a week, but we didn't have the weight we needed, and the NRA was a bigger force than we could deal with. And so we lost that, but the judge, to his credit, said this does not prohibit the fact that there certainly will be other lawsuits like this. The NRA heard those words and took them to heart and spent the next 18 months putting in place an absolute immunity on the gun industry, and unfortunately was able to get this Congress to pass it and sign into law. It is just unbelievable that we will get absolute immunity to any industry in this country, particularly when there's harm and personal injury. So I think more than anything else, I was stunned a little while ago in hearing the gentleman, my colleague on the other side of the aisle, saying that he had sought out advice from a military commander about how to protect schools and that the advice was harden the target. And Ms. Swear, when you were asked to comment on that, you said absolutely harden the target. Well, that's fine. Except, how do you harden a supermarket? How do you harden a church? How do you find a way to go out and harden movie theaters? If the only answer is hardening the target, we've already capitulated. And I'm telling you, I'm so glad that so many people are focused on this hearing around the country so they can see firsthand what is going on here. We have a problem that is not going to go away. Every year it gets worse. And so until we're prepared to do what we were sworn constitutionally to do, to protect this country from enemies, foreign and domestic, we would have failed. Madam Chair, I yield back.